You ever notice how everyone wants to be mentally tough until reality shows up with a sandbag and gravity says, let's see what's actually there? Cute affirmations evaporate real fast when your heart rate spikes into the red, your grip starts screaming, and your soul quietly whispers, you don't have to finish this because nobody's watching. Yeah, that moment. That's the moment I show up for. Because the reps reveal who you really are. Not the hashtag, not the planner, not the color-coded routine or the ultrasonic diffuser blowing eucalyptus into your enlightenment aura. I'm talking about the raw version of you, stripped of audience, dopamine, excuses. The version forged under load, under fatigue, under the uncomfortable truth that you only ever become the person you pretend to be when it's hard. People love to talk about identity. They read books about becoming their highest self, meditate to manifest resilience, journal themselves into some pseudo-stoic monk identity while sipping mushroom coffee like it's the rite of passage to warriorhood. Let me break that delusion real fast. You don't call yourself resilient because you own a journal. You don't get the grit because you watch a motivational clip and get goosebumps. You don't build identity from imagination. You build it from evidence. And nothing delivers evidence like work. Real, repetitive, uncomfortable, soul-erasing work. That's what these sandbag reps are. Not an excuse, not an exercise, a mirror. Every rep is a referendum of who you actually are, or not who you want to pretend to be in your mind. You want to know why people avoid real training? Because deep down they're terrified of discovering they are soft. Not physically, spiritually. Weak in the discipline muscle, fragile in the discomfort muscle. Conditioned by convenience, seduced by comfort, addicted to being entertained instead of being forged. This isn't about sandbags. This is about sovereignty. Sovereignty means you own yourself, your effort, your discipline, your discomfort tolerance, your emotions, your physiology, your fate. Nobody's coming to spot this bag. Nobody's saving you from the fatigue. Nobody's handing you toughness like some 2-day shipping prime perk. The world isn't handing out grit. You earn it through friction. And friction isn't poetic, it's physiological. Since a lot of people treat toughness like magic instead of biology, you want to rewire identity. That happens through repeated exposure to stress, enough to trigger adaptation, not enough to break you, or mesis. The nervous system adapts to the demand placed on it. Pain tolerance will shift. Your cortical inhibition changes. Your motor unit recruitment patterns evolve. Your endocrine system learns to ride the stress wave instead of drowning it. In that emotional resilience, neuroplasticity under duress, prefrontal involvement, limbic regulation, interoceptive accuracy. Fancy terms, but for this is what it basically means is when the work sucks, your brain learns it won't kill you. You do not breathe your way into unbreakable. You bleed your way into unbreakable. And here's the punchline most soft-minded comfort addicts cannot stomach. You cannot intellectualize capability. You can only learn it somatically, through doing, not knowing. Everyone wants sovereignty, but they outsource their discipline. They outsource their toughness to a coach. They outsource motivation to caffeine and hype and external reinforcement. They outsource accountability to fitness apps and tracking streaks and wearable dioramas that beep at them when it's time to pretend to care again. You want sovereignty? Stop outsourcing your backbone. If you need someone to tell you when to grind, you do not belong talking about greatness. If you only train when you feel like it, you're not on a journey, you're on a treadmill of comfort masquerading as effort. Sovereign athletes don't wake up hoping today is convenient enough to be disciplined. They wake up expecting to fight. And the sandbag, this ugly, awkward lump of dead weight, it doesn't lie, it doesn't flatter you, it doesn't care how your day went, how tired you are, what trauma you're healing, or what horoscope rationalization you cling to about being in your recharge season. The sandbag is honest. It judges you by output, not intention. Reps don't care about your narrative, effort doesn't negotiate, discomfort doesn't give you participation trophies. We live in a culture allergic to discomfort, confused about effort, emotionally damaged by inconvenience, and proud of mediocrity like it's some Nobel rebellion against hard work. That's why you see people scrolling for hacks like they're digging for the holy grail in TikTok comment section. Cold plugins and nootropics and biohacks and grounding mats, all attempts to cheat the universal truth. Suffering is the currency of capability. You do not get durable without demand. You do not get confident without competence. You do not get sovereign without earning mastery over yourself, your biology, your excuses, your perceived limits. You can ice bath yourself into feeling heroic all you want until you pick up weight and do something hard on purpose without applause. This is neurophysiology and philosophy shaking hands. Action rewires identity because the body and brain are not separate kingdoms. They're one adaptive organism. Behavior shapes self-concept. Work shapes worth. Stress shapes strength. You know what separates a sovereign athlete from the average effort tourist? The sovereign welcomes the struggle because they understand the contract. Pain is not punishment, it's payment. Every strained breath buys discipline. Every lactic burn buys neural adaptation. Every rep you don't want to do but do anyways buys identity. The weight teaches the truths words can't. You ever study the nervous system's threat signaling? Most people assume fatigue means danger, weakness means threat. They think discomfort is a sign to stop rather than a signal to evolve. That's why they quit early, not because the body failed, but because the brain couldn't differentiate discomfort from danger. Training isn't about building strength, it's teaching your nervous system to stop panicking at reality. When you do this, heavy, hard, unglamorous repetitions, you are literally rewriting your stress response. You're teaching your physiology one thing: I do not break when resistance arrives, I sharpen. You think that doesn't bleed into life, into business, relationships, health crises, identity? You think the person who quits at rep 23 of 100 because it's a lot suddenly becomes stoic when life guts them? No. You default to your training, always. You want to know why I film this? Why philosophy in motion works? Because philosophy without practice is intellectual masturbation. Emotion without philosophy is just cardio for people scared to think. I refuse to preach what I don't live. I refuse to teach sovereignty while secretly depending on external validation. I refuse to demand discipline from others by negotiating with my own weaknesses. I'm not a coach, but you should not trust a coach who doesn't bleed for their own beliefs. I'm not trying to look hardcore, I'm demonstrating truth. Suffering is not the enemy, avoidance is. The world wants you docile, dependent, numb, obedient, easy manipulated by shiny comfort. That's why this kind of trading is rebellion. That's why sovereignty matters. That's why reps like these matter. Because when you deliberately choose difficult, you become immune to the coercion of ease. Listen to that again. When you train discomfort as a skill, comfort stops being your master. When you suffer voluntarily, you cannot be controlled involuntarily. This isn't about fitness, it's autonomy practice. Every rep is a vote for your identity you keep building. Every strain is a reminder that you are not fragile. Every minute suffering builds a lifetime capacity to endure meaningfully when life demands it. And life will demand it. Maybe not today, maybe not in this neat little choreography of to-do lists and productivity apps, but life will show up eventually with its own version of a sandbag in the shape of illness, loss, fear, uncertainty, betrayal, reality. And when that happens, your affirmations will not save you. Your excuses will not serve you. Your comfort habits won't protect you. Your training will. Your identity will. Your willingness to suffer will. The reps no one saw will. The discipline you built quietly will. You will rise or crumble based on who you become under voluntary adversity. So yeah, 150 sandbag reps. Not because it's flashy, not because it's efficient, not because it's a trending program, but because simplicity under load is a crucible of truth. Pick up something heavy, carry it, repeat it, grow. If that sounds primitive, good. Humans didn't evolve through ergonomic chairs and feeling journals. We evolved through hardship, resilience, adaptation, and grit. You are designed for effort. You are engineered to endure. You are built to fight and adapt and overcome. Comfort isn't your birthright, capability is. The only way you get it is work, load, reps, suffering, adaptation, repeat it. That's sovereignty, that's identity, that's what no words can teach you, only weight can. Now shut up, pick up your version of the sandbag, and start counting, not reps, decisions. Because everyone is shaping you who you become. And if you're not being forged, you're decaying. Be the one who earns who they say they are. Not with talk, with weight, with will. Let the suffering build you, let the strain strip the lies, let the reps sculpt the truth, because capability isn't granted, it's forged. And you do not become sovereign by watching, you become sovereign by lifting. Now get to work.